again, and this is the classic that we've seen. This is the U.S. Congress, House of Representatives, 30 members of the U.S. Congress around a table talking with each other about electrification, about cutting deforestation, about carbon capture and storage, carbon pricing, about shutting down oil and gas, talking to each other, but grounded in a simulation. En-ROADS, you see it on the left there, with the best available science. So they're not just imagining or having magical thinking about this. This is the setting that we've seen works really well. And really led by Ellie, when this worked so well around 2015, she said, let's build a program to make this available for free. So you can use the model and the materials and the training, this is all free. One note, in a couple weeks, I think, we will say, hey, if you can help contribute to this cause, it takes a lot of money, $3 million a year to run this whole thing. So if you have some resources, we will gladly accept it as a nonprofit organization. But we said, let's give this away for free to the world and see if around the world we can spark much more ambitious, effective climate action in this kind of setting. So we started giving it away, and it's been remarkable. These are images that we think may inspire you. I hope you see yourself in some of these applications of people around the world, where 1.2 million people now have used this simulator, and there are 800 people who have gone through this full program, received a certificate that said they completed this program, and are out there engaging decision makers here in Asia, in Nepal. You can see, here's a couple images in Nepal, here in Pakistan, here in South Korea. That's the simulation. Look in the bottom right corner, you can see the simulation. In Central and South America, here is Eduardo Fracassi, perhaps the most prolific of the of the ECAs, here with a big screen behind him. Here in Peru, in Lima, more engagements. I hope you can see yourself someday in these situations. Here in Argentina, in Africa, Nigeria, several in Nigeria. And I see there are a lot of people registered from Nigeria. Welcome. In Ghana, in China. I was there a couple months ago at the World Economic Forum and at Tsinghua University using the simulator. Here in Shanghai, here in Hong Kong, others sessions here now in India, the Birla Institute of Technology, other sectors, business and industry, Pakistan, a board of directors, all these looks like men around a table with En-ROADS in the back, talking about climate and equity strategy grounded in the simulator. Amsterdam, IKEA in Australia, Italy. Now, this is also in education, free college. This works. I've run these events with middle school students here in Japan, here in high school in Taiwan, in Australia, college and universities. This is perhaps the greatest area of use. Argentina, Taiwan, Mexico. I think we're going to hear from Alba later. Indonesia. In government, here in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. State Department, the Vietnamese delegation in New Zealand, in the oil and gas industry, Shell, banking and financial services in a bank, here at HSBC, or it works really well in conferences. This is me a little over a month ago in Dalian, China at the World Economic Forum Summer Davos meeting, running a workshop. Here, a big session in Germany with Florian, one of our leading ambassadors and partners. South by Southwest, there's Ellie, whom you just heard from in the red jacket at South by Southwest. This is in London. Okay, so this is the vision for where you would be using these tools. What happens, do we find? We find that when we engage people with a simulator, three things happen. First is it elevates engagement. These kinds of settings, we would not be getting access to this scale of people without this incredibly engaging tool. It gets you access to powerful people who are making decisions whom you want to influence. Secondly, really driving home the distinction between high leverage actions and low leverage actions. What are the things that are really going to help prevent this challenge? What are the things that are actually not going to help very much? We have limited years to take action to prevent this challenge. We need to be putting resources in the most important areas. This simulator and the experience with it makes that distinction very clear. The third is hope and possibility. There is a cloud of resignation over many people just saying, oh, we can't do it. Of course we can do it. We can create much, much better futures. And this simulator helps do that. What I'd like to do is do a short exercise of how we use the simulator to build hope and possibility. I'm just going to do this really quickly. Usually we'll spend an hour, but I'm going to do the fastest version of how we use this to create hope and possibility. So here you are. You've got a group of people, and you could do this. Just ask them a question. What solutions would you like to test here in this simulator? So if you go to the poll again, look here and vote. I think you can vote as many times as you want. What shall we do around the world to prevent this challenge? Encourage renewable energy, discourage coal, oil, gas, nuclear power, new zero carbon energy, that's like fusion or thorium fission or geothermal, set a carbon price, energy efficiency, food systems, food waste, diets, bioenergy, less bioenergy, electrification, cutting deforestation, plant trees, methane and other gases, carbon removal. Okay, so just with this, what we're doing is you would be having people not listen to you lecture, which is super boring on this issue. You're cultivating their thinking about what we could do. You're helping them envision the future that we all want to see. And right now, renewables, food, carbon price. Renewables, food, and carbon price are getting the most votes. And discouraging coal. Engaging people. Go here, vote in this poll. You see the idea. So you vote, vote, vote. And this may be done with people talking to each other or all in different ways. Maybe they're voting on their phone in a big conference. And then what the work will be is over 45 minutes or so, but engage them on, okay, what if we did those things? What would happen to what we see over here in the top right, which is 3.3 degrees? But that's where things are headed under a conservative baseline future. But people don't care about a number. If you're going to be engaging people, you're going to want to help them. And you'll see underneath, you click on a title here, you can see it impacts many of the things that people care about. You can see air pollution and ocean acidification and sea level rise and ice-free summers and extreme heat. It's always interesting to pull up something like sea level rise or what we've been dealing with here this summer in the United States, extreme heat. But you would ask people, what's a place in the world that you care about? I saw someone from Bangladesh, and if you were in Bangladesh, you would say, well, let's go look at sea level rise. Make it vivid, make it hyper local. You're helping people see where we're headed to inspire them to say, we want to do better than to have all of these areas in Bangladesh blue, that is land at risk from sea level rise. Helping people courageously look at where we're headed, whether it's ecologically, economically, environmentally, health-wise, any of these issues. So spend a little time there, but then very quickly say, we can do better. All those things, what did you say? Let's discourage coal. What you're going to see in the top left is the change to the energy mix. There are about 100 graphs that you can look at. Here is one of the main ones that shows coal, and on top of it oil, and gas in blue on top of it, renewables expanding, a growing wedge on top of it. What if we have less coal? Underneath, you're going to be able to have a very basic view here, where you can just say, oh, less coal. Or underneath, a very nuanced, highly technical, advanced perspective where you can say, I'm going to reduce coal infrastructure and just eliminate it. We're not building any new coal infrastructure, you can say. What if? The simulator will do the math very quickly to say, what if we don't build any new coal? You're going to ask people, what do you think that's going to do? Do we get more renewables? Do we get less emissions? Let's think. What do we think it's going to do? So do that right now. Wow, no new coal. What's that going to do? Click the button, and then up here you're going to repeat it, and you're going to see, wow, brown area shrinks, temperature goes down, doesn't solve the whole problem, but boy, we get less coal, and look what it does to renewables. It's a tightly coupled system, so the green area of renewables expands because the competition for wind and solar has been compromised. More growth there, we get to see this result. What else did you say? You said less coal. What else did you say? We said we want more renewables. See the green area grow. You said we want carbon pricing. How effective? You said, how about cutting agricultural emissions? And underneath here, I think you said food. So less food from animals, less food waste, therefore less methane. So along the way, you're teaching about best practices for livestock and cutting methane and crops, etc. Well, what else? You voted for electrification, which helps shift towards zero carbon energy supplies like wind and solar. You also voted for energy efficiency in transportation and buildings and industry. You said, let's have less oil, less gas, cutting waste and leakage of methane, cutting deforestation. Suddenly, look, you're creating a vision, a positive vision of where we could be headed if this world were to pull together more and more, which it's already doing, but we need more of it to get to well below 2 degrees. You can say, what would it actually take to get all the way to 1.5 with some carbon removal technologies that don't exist at scale? But you can start envisioning what would it take to get here. And then you can go back and say, well, what do we see in the world? What happens to indicators that we might care about? How much better is the frequency of extreme heat? And what are areas in Bangladesh that are green? The green areas are not at risk from sea level rise because of the actions that we're taking. And how much better are factors that really matter, such as air pollution and other equity measures. Look at that blue line. How much better is this world with less cardiovascular disease and asthma and heart disease because of PM 2.5 emissions? A steep drop. So what you're doing, and this is perhaps one application of En-ROADS. One application is to help people create a vision of a possible future. There are many others about what is the role of any of the specific levers down here. So I want to be very clear. We are introducing you to the ECA camp. What it does is it teaches you through these videos, through these live meetups, how to understand this simulation, how to present this simulation, how to bring it to decision makers in a workshop, how to bring it to decision makers in a role play game, how to handle the technical side of everything, understand the model, confidence building, how to handle tough questions, but also the facilitation side. How do you even set up a meeting in a way that people are open to changing their minds? How do you deal with that person who is challenging you on the science and really doesn't want you to succeed, because you run into those folks? That's what this course is about. We're going to tell you more about the specifics of it, but we hope it empowers you to have your career go up several notches, your effectiveness as a climate leader to go up even more, to get the results that you've always dreamed about. Along the way, there are several principles I want to name about how we engage. Here they are, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. Here are the principles that we at Climate Interactive live by. The first is rigor. We are serious scientists who know the numbers, who like to get things right, and don't bend the truth in order to get our results. We have academic, scholarly integrity, rigor as we do our work. Secondly, courage, willing to say, look starkly at the state of the world today, where we're headed, which isn't that good on climate, but also look at the vision we have that I just showed you of a 1.5 degree world, of a much better world where we address climate and equity. We are courageous in our ability to do that. We invite you to as well. The courage also goes to challenging the powers that be, bringing this to people who may not want to hear these ideas, but you're going to be able to get in the door because this is so engaging. The third is heart. This is not a rational exercise. This is a journey of spirit, of emotion and feeling. And when you bring your whole self to these conversations, people respond. So we bring our whole selves. This is not a rational, objective challenge. It's not an engineering challenge. It needs us to bring our whole selves to this work. The fourth is fun. These games are really fun. When people play roles, when they see the model, it's just cool. Why not have fun even as we face very big challenges in the world? And the fifth, we are fierce for results. We are here not to just engage people. We are not here just to elevate our careers. We want to see greenhouse gas emissions falling rapidly with equitable policy. That's the vision of Climate Interactive. We are fierce for results, and we invite you to be as well. All right, I'm going to pass it back to hear from Ellie and Clara about the next steps.
Thank you, Drew. So now actually we're here from a few ambassadors that are here today with us. So let me quickly introduce them. Peter Dutoit in South Africa. We're going to have Alba Peña in Mexico and Kurt Newton in the United States. And so I'll just be very quick and introduce them. And so maybe let's see if someone can unmute Peter, or I'll quickly handle that. Okay, Peter. Yeah, you're here. No, you're muted now.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So, Clara, would you like to just know a little bit about how I ran into En-ROADS? Is that how you'd like us to start this little conversation?
Yeah, this will be very like 2-3 minutes because unfortunately we don't have a lot of time. But
really, how are you using it in the world, Peter? How are you using it in the world?
100%. So I've actually started my timer, Clara, so you don't have to worry. So I just want to let everybody know that my background, I have a little consultancy that helps leadership teams to get their heads around approaching global megatrends. And at about just before the pandemic, we realized that the climate issue was going to become a major issue. And so what we did is I started looking for tools that we can use to upgrade the climate literacy inside the boardroom. And I was delighted to have discovered Climate Interactive's En-ROADS tool, because I have personally never seen anything as powerful as this. Because as Drew said a little earlier, this is not about lecturing people. This is actually about taking people on a journey with a tool that they can interact with, and it creates this upgrade, this mental upgrade of what we are facing. And, as Drew's always said, it's a situation where you don't, after you've been through this exercise, you can actually put the En-ROADS model aside, but in your head lives this upgraded version of the issues we face. So I've been using this in boardrooms. I've been using this with political parties and their climate divisions that they have. I've been inside academia with this simulator. So basically, everywhere where people are wanting to learn about the challenges we face, what we need to do about it, and of course, what challenges we face as a result of the impacts that we are committed to. And of course, the climate, the En-ROADS model can help us do both those things, which is what I really spend my time doing. But it is a powerful tool, and all I can tell you, for those of you that are joining this camp, is see it to the end, and then start talking to whoever you can. If it's small family groups, if it's in your church, it doesn't matter where it is really, but just start, and you will begin to enter the space of being able to assist people with their climate literacy.
Wow, fantastic, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, this is great. There are so many settings you can use it, and thank you for the tip to encourage everyone to just use it and speak with others with this tool. So thank you, Peter. And now we have Alba. Alba, maybe you should be able to unmute now. Yes.
Hey, Alba.
Hi everyone. So I'm Alba. I'll try to be very brief because I know we're short on time, but I've been using En-ROADS with youth in my community. Young people are so worried about climate change, and this leads to eco-anxiety because they don't know what to do. And so En-ROADS really makes it very easy to see, what can we do? And it makes it fun. Like, that's the one thing that I stress the most. It's fun, learning, and it's a game. They're playing. They get super excited. They get really rowdy sometimes because they just want to see what's going to happen, and it's very energizing for you as a facilitator to see that people care about this and they want to do something about it. So that's the way I've been using it. I don't know how much time we have left, but happy to say a little bit more if you want me to. But basically, it's fun and it's very empowering.
Thank you so much, Alba.
Yeah, thank you. You will learn across these 8 weeks. There's a game that you can play, but if it is a workshop or whatever event you're framing it, it can be fun. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience and enthusiasm, Alba. So now we can hear from Kurt. So yeah, Kurt, you're here.
Hello from Cambridge, Massachusetts. My day job is I work at MIT. I'm a staff. I lead a program called MIT OpenCourseware. And about 10 years ago, I got increasingly activated around climate change. I started giving a lot of presentations and was so glad to discover this alternative mode of reaching people and working with people with this model and these different kinds of experiences. And I can just, echo all the things that you've been hearing. I've lived and breathed and experienced how vital and engaging this stuff is. I think about it in terms of like a few whys that I, why do I use En-ROADS? I find that it is opening, it is engaging, and it is encouraging. People might start off very attached to a particular domain, a particular type of solution, and working through En-ROADS, it opens their minds to a richer set of possibilities. Also, the engagement, watching people, especially in the role-playing games, and especially younger people inhabit those, is just a blast. It's just one of the best things that I get to do when I'm doing climate outreach work. And, quite frankly, people are also often entering these spaces with some confusions and maybe even some discouragement. And so it cracks some of those things open and gives people a way to kind of show up where they are and go through a process of kind of building a deeper understanding and kind of opening their hearts up to what the opportunities are. The support that you would get as an ambassador from the Climate Interactive team and these resources is also tremendous. I can't think of any other setting that has this sort of support, both from the folks who put it together and also the community of ambassadors that you'd be becoming a part of. And I'll just one last thing. Appreciate the openness that you have. Climate Interactive has given this stuff for free. My favorite story. I gave a talk, a workshop to a group of high school educators earlier this year. I did a before and after word cloud, and the two top words that they said at the start were nervous and concerned. And after spending an hour going through the workshop with them, top two were optimistic and determined. What could be better than that? So thank you guys.
Thank you.
In an hour, you changed people's emotions, and yeah, that's incredible. Thank you, Kurt, and thank you, Peter, Alba, too. It was great hearing from you. So hopefully today we have many new ambassadors. You'll take this 8-week cohort, and hopefully you start facilitating events with En-ROADS and kind of apply to become an ambassador. And so now, very quickly, I'll just share my screen and talk for a minute about the course logistics before going to the breakout rooms. So, no, sorry, going back. Okay, basically, you're here today, and we're going to have these weekly live sessions, but the main course content is here at this learn.climateinteractive.org website. So here's where you'll find all of the videos and quizzes and the notes and the community. And so, yeah, just very quickly flashing it. This is the website, and you can access the community here. And you go to the course, and you'll be able to see all of the components, just navigate through the course. There are different modules, and during these 8 weeks, you'll be directed to take one module each week. And so these live sessions will happen every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. They are not mandatory, and we'll send out the recordings for those who can't join. But they will be, just valuable opportunities for you to connect with others, ask questions, practice, and just complement the course content. And what else? Yeah, just for this week, you didn't have to do anything, just set up your account. And for next week, we will have this, we will cover the basics to become an En-ROADS facilitator. So the session will be related to that module. And yeah, you're encouraged to take the welcome module and module 1, this one. So yeah, that's it. I think now it's time to go to the breakout rooms, let you all connect with each other, and then we can handle some questions if you have at the end of the hour. So Eva is going to be handling the breakout rooms. Eva, let me know if we're all set to send people there. But before we do, of course, here's the prompt. Here, yeah. So basically, very open-ended. People in the room, introduce yourselves, and what are you hoping to get from this training? I hope everyone has a chance, and we'll have around 15 minutes. So yeah, just introduce yourself and what are you hoping to get from En-ROADS or simulations or this training, or you're planning to use the tool. And yeah, Eva, let me know when things are ready.
I think they're good to go. So I'll open the rooms now.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, Luis. Luis, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you're pronounced it right.
Cool. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Are David and Claudine in the room? Not sure.
Hi, I'm fine.
Oh, there we go. Hi. Yeah, nice to meet you guys. Does anyone want to go first? What you do and what you're hoping to get out of the whole thing? Yeah. Well,
Okay,
go ahead, Claudine.
David. Thank you. I'm Hawanimana Claudine from Rwanda. Yeah. I want just we heard that my English level is not that good, but at least you can get the message I want to give you. Yeah, I'm the student waiting for graduation, botany and conservation.
Okay,
Yeah.
waiting for graduation. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm interested in climate change action. How can I interact in mitigating climate change nowadays? As we can see that climate change is the big problem in our areas.
Yeah.
So I want to learn more about the climate change. How can I expose my knowledge into the around the community so that we can contribute together for climate change?
Got it. Thank you, Claudine.
Thank you.
Luis, you want to go next?
May I pop in? Okay, all right. I'm Luis from Brazil. I am a master in science and management. I investigate stuff related to resource management and energy transition. And I have two basic goals in participating in the Interactive Investor. One is learn more about climate change and indicators and system dynamics. And the second one is to become, in the near future, a system dynamics influencer in Brazil. So that's why I'm trying to learn more about and participate more in networks like Interactive.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. David, how about you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm fine, Ralph. Can you get me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm David from Cameroon, actually working with WWF. So I actually took the course because of my interest in sustainability finance. And sustainability, it's all about climate action on the environment and how we can use how the environment and the climate can contribute in preserving some future agricultural needs for our coming generation. So that's why I got interested in the course.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So my name is Raf. My company's name is Mad Earth, Make a Difference Earth, and Make a Difference Travel. We do educational programs related to sustainability and restoration to engage and teach people about how to do it and why it's relevant. We have real-time projects like restoring 3,000 hectares of forest or a few hundred hectares of mangroves, or protecting a certain area. And we work with a lot of tribes. We use real-life educational materials and bring it to the boardroom or classroom. I had the chance to see this simulator in a class at MIT when I was there last month, and I really liked it. And I thought, and I've tried using it already in presentations, and it's very effective. And I just wanted to learn more because I'd really like to persuade the publicly listed companies in our country, in the Philippines, to make that shift and to make it quickly, because not everyone understands it. But these charts, a boardroom will understand that. So yeah, I'm excited. I have my first big boardroom presentation on Monday.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah. They actually didn't tell us how long we'd be on this breakout room. So
I think when everybody would have presented themselves in their various rooms, I'm sure we're going to get back on the main call.
okay. In the meantime, does anyone have any thoughts or questions or suggestions?
I think, Rav, you're the more experienced one here.
I was just curious. But yeah, well, if there's none, my suggestion is actually leave the room and see if when we go back to the main room hall, they'll start calling people in. Yeah. But if you want to stay in touch, just message me. Right.
Okay.
We share our experiences of learning together.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I can't leave the room. In that case, I guess we
Yeah.
just have to wait.
Yeah, I think you have to wait until they'll make you leave.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm curious, where is your government now in terms of the climate transition? Like for us as an example, our current Minister of Environment, I had the chance to meet with her, and she says we're not going to be able to get into 100% renewable until 2050. So that's super late. So, but then again, she hasn't seen this and she doesn't know all the new things that could come out. But they're trying, but we also have a very ineffective president at the moment. So, yeah.
In Brazil, it's like the same. Our last president, Bolsonaro, was like a maniac. And, yeah, but Lula, it's not quite different from him. But he has an environmental agenda, but it's not put in practice. So we are having a lot of deforestations in Amazonia. We have a lot of fire in Pantanal, that it's a wind biome. So I think in my state, Ceará, we have plenty of potential for renewable energy, like such as wind and solar. But in this process, to invest in renewable energy, we are jeopardizing some traditional communities. So basically, we are making the energy transition from Europe.
Wow, that is interesting. How about you, David? What's happening in your part of the world?
Yeah, I think the transition is taking place in Africa as a whole, and Cameroon in particular. So the government is trying to bring out new actions, coupled with the meetings of the COP18, the last COP that was held in Dubai. So we are trying to drag some initiatives which we are going to implement, because we know we have a large basin when it comes to Africa, Central Africa. I'll talk about the Congo Basin in general. It's a very large area, and we are seeing that if these layers are not protected, it shows that in the near future, we are talking of 5 to 6 years, it's going to have a devastating effect. So we have so many international organizations that are putting hands together with the government in order to see how to preserve this. So luckily for us, maybe before 2050, when Philippines wants to get there, I'm sure would have preserved a very large area of the climate.
Yeah. Wow, cool. Thanks for that. That's pretty urgent. 5 to 6 years, not very.
Yeah.
You don't have much time. How about you, Claudine? Okay, maybe she stepped out. Yeah, we over here we're experiencing record-breaking heat waves and brush fire, and last week we had a record-breaking storm with it gave us, what's that, 1/4 of the annual rainfall happened in one day.
Yeah, that has actually happened in Rio Grande do Sul, state in South Brazil.
Really?
We have a lot of dams and people lose all they belongs. I'm talking about entire cities, so that and people. It was the first image immigration in Brazil, and we're starting to felt the climate change effects. For example, in my region, I live in the semi-arid region, and it's not common to rain in June, and we had one of the most rains seasons in June. So I'm kind of concerned about it, and I can see.
Yeah, I think the main thing that is affecting these climatic changes is mostly the deforestation, which is it's tampering with the ozone layer. So at the end of the day, we are having some there's no stability in climate again. You can no longer predict if Brazil maybe has a 2 or 3 season. You cannot speak we'll have 1 season per year, but now things are changing. You start having torrential rainfalls in most of these areas that tend to wipe away so many things, and it is the main problem. We also have we also have this bush burning in Africa, which is affecting a lot. Yeah, so most of the indigents around this area, since they want to cultivate, they just feel as they cut down trees, they burn the bushes, and at the end of the day, all these particles they affect the climate in general, and that's why we have inclination of climate.
I see. You know, David, we have the same issue here. Because in the area I'm working in, it's 3,000 hectares, and some of the farmers like to burn the grass so that fresh grass grows for new cows, right? And that's burning some of our reforestation. So what we're using now is called biochar. We're cutting the grass, and then we're cooking it in a pyrolysis chamber, and then we're able to capture 30% of the carbon in the item. So it's a carbon negative item process, and then that carbon we put it back in the soil, and it increases the soil, the water retention. 1 kilo of biochar can hold 6 liters of water. So
that's an amazing concept then.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's a free resource, biochar. Yeah. And yeah, if you want, shoot me your email address. I'll send you the resources I have on it.
Okay, I will just do that very fast. I see there's a notification to leave the room.
Yeah. Okay.
In some few seconds.
Okay. Cool.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Have a nice time.
Recording in progress. Room is quickly funneling back in here to the main room to rejoin us. That was so wonderful to hear from you all. I think everybody that spoke here in the main room was from a different country. We heard from people in Pakistan, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda. That was wonderful. Thanks everyone. We don't have time to hear from others. And right here, we're gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna pass it to Drew for some final words. But also note, the way we tend to run our meetings and webinars here at Climate Interactive, we try and keep it to an hour, unless we've told you otherwise. Keep it to an hour. We know you all are busy. You've got things to move on to. And if you have more time, we're going to stick around for questions. I know in the chat I saw some really good questions. So we will ask you to write your questions back in, and we'll hang out and try and get through as many questions as possible. The recording of this session will be sent out afterwards if you missed anything. But the main course content dive into, it's over at the website learn.climateinteractive.org. And we'll be really excited to see you next week. Same time, same place. So we'll be back, and we'll be together here for the coming weeks. Drew, over to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a thrill to meet you all. We've been thinking about this all year and so excited for your arrival. We build these models, we build the materials, and the support page, and this team is here to support you to get results that you want in the world. And I know this was a lot. This was a lot of information in this last hour. So I just want you to be patient with yourself. Maybe now imagine slowing down the process. What you are going to do is go watch the videos, take the quizzes, read the summaries, and start learning. And then what you'll be doing over the coming weeks is starting to engage people with this tool. But the key is to be patient with yourself. As Peter Dutoit said, stick with it and see what you learn over time. And first, just that patience. But secondly, wow, what an exciting time to live in, to be called upon for the grand adventure of helping lead our society towards wholeness, towards equity, towards living within the boundaries, the ecological boundaries of the world, and to be empowered to do so with some cutting edge technologies. What a remarkable time to live. So, stick around for some questions, but overall, we hope that you take this challenge and stick with this course and use it to get greenhouse gas emissions to fall rapidly with equitable policy. That's why we're all here, and we're so thrilled you're part of the journey. All right, this is the formal end. This is a time to write something in the chat, to say goodbye to everybody, and to acknowledge where we're at. But overall, if you have questions, we're going to shift gears and start answering some of your questions. I'd say if you have really long questions, go to the support page. Can someone put that link in chat? There's this amazing FAQ place. So many of the questions you'll ask are in the FAQs on the support page. So if you have a question that's going to take more than 5 sentences to answer, go to the support page. Maybe it's been answered already. Maybe you'll write a ticket, but that's how you'll communicate. But again, go watch the videos and let's go have some questions.
If you could write into the chat. We have several of us here with eyes on the chat. I know there were some questions earlier. Please write your question again if you're still here, still thinking about it. Some of the questions that I've seen go past. When will the recording of this session be available? We're going to send an email out tomorrow, I believe, that will include the link to this recording, as well as those next steps in case you missed them. Every week, you'll get an email that'll just point you in the right direction of where to find the course content and all of that. But it's all at learn.climateinteractive.org, and that's the place to start. I see some people raising hands. We can go ahead.
Why don't we tick off some in the chat first, Ellie, really quickly?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's going to be the easiest way. Arpita's asking about China and what an incredible, important role China plays biggest producer of wind and solar in the world. Perhaps they've peaked their coal. And when we explore this, there's a complementary simulator that you can learn about called C-Roads. Could someone put the link to C-Roads, where we can explore the important role that China plays? So Arpita, we encourage you to engage there. It's so critical, but they can't solve this on our own. We're going to need the whole world.
I see a question. Maybe Drew, if we just tag team back and
Why
forth.
don't we go back and forth? Yeah, go ahead.
So I see a question from Max that says, do you work with Citizens Climate Lobby or train some of their people? I'm a member. I don't know if she's still on, Laura Iyer. If you are, you can drop your contact information in again. But Laura is a CCL member that has coordinated a group of people who use En-ROADS in their CCL work. And there are many advocacy organizations out there that use En-ROADS. So there are countless others out there. I know Rotary Club and others have also used En-ROADS over the years.
Great. I see Lubna asked, will there be special exams for En-ROADS ambassador position? So we don't have a pass-fail exam. We are not able to certify everybody as saying that you have passed the test and you can do it. Too many people, and we don't have the team for that yet. So there is a final test where you test more for yourself, because you'll get to see your results. There are 31 quizzes that will help you for yourself build your confidence. What you do to become an ambassador is you complete the course, you go run 2 workshops with others, you get feedback from them, and then you're an ambassador. You get a certificate that will show it. If you go on LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of people posting theirs.
You'll need to apply to become an ambassador.
And you apply at the end. Thank you, Clara. You got one, Ellie?
Yeah, well, I was going to highlight that point about certificates. So there's 2 different types of certificates. One, I have completed all of this ECA camp training certificate. It's just a participation. Indicates you showed up, you listened, you learned, you took all the quizzes. But the real certificate that we really encourage everyone, the whole point of why we're running this training for you, is so that you get out there and you use these tools to make a difference through different events. So that's the way you become an En-ROADS Climate Ambassador, by taking this training, running events, and applying, as Clara said.
Yeah. I see Philippe Bouvier has read the materials. It's great content, full of data. You have the opportunity to teach some of the content. Do you have PowerPoints that cover the content for each chapter or each part? So the short answer is yes. And maybe someone in chat can post the link to the materials page. And on the materials page, there are PowerPoint decks for leading the workshop and the game. That said, you'll notice we don't deliver the most important ideas via PowerPoints because we are not so confident in the ability of people to learn from material presented. Most of what you'll see and what people pick up is the experience of experimenting with the simulator, learning why it does what it does, and then getting insights out of that. So watch the videos, learn that way, and then count on some PowerPoints from us to engage people. But you're not going to get a deck with 200 slides that will teach about everything, because we don't lecture, we engage with the simulator.
Awesome. I see some specific questions about the model bubbling up.
Ooh.
I mean, I am almost tempted to say, hang tight.
Oh, Ellie, we love these questions, but you're right. Chitra.
There's so much that we haven't even told you about the tool yet. That is the heart of this training. Today is mostly just introductions, hellos, getting you all grounded into what this is all about, who we are.
Yeah. But maybe we should just declare for Chitra to just say, is the simulation conceptual or its data pooled from scientific sources that are credible? Chitra, yes. The simulation's data, the parameters in it, the equations that we derive, all the science behind it is grounded in the best available science. and tested extensively. I won't go on about how, as Ellie just said, we'll get to it. There's a whole section on confidence building, but yes, it is.
There is not a fee associated with getting a certificate. You don't have to run events in which you're generating money or anything like that. We've really designed this because the climate crisis is urgent, and these tools are accessible for everyone to use around the world. And of course, we got to keep the lights on around here at Interactive. So if you do have resources and you are generating revenue by using our tools, please pay it back to us so we can keep getting this out to the world. But if you're just using this in a volunteer situation and just running these events for people in your community, go forth and do that. We're so excited to see all those efforts out there. And as you saw from the pictures that Drew showed, these events run the range of small community gatherings with young people all the way on up to high level events with decision makers. It's amazing the different spaces in which these En-ROADS, the tool, and the curriculum that we have developed is useful out there in the world. And you can see it too by just how many people have shown up from all over the world too.